Hi guys and gals, my name's Doug Wilson, and this is Yellowhawk Customs Outdoors, where we do all things knives and sheath systems. KYDEX sheath systems, and leather over KYDEX sheath systems. That reminds me, I had one that I was going to show you, but I packaged it up and it's headed out to the client, so I won't be able to show you that leather elite. Sorry. You'll see the next one. So here we got client offerings video, right? And like I said, I do these not only to show the clients their finished systems, but also so you guys can tune in and see some nice knives with great sheaths on them. Okay, so these are the systems here that we have for this video. So, you guys stay tuned. I'll talk about the knives and the sheaths, how I did this, how I did that. And if you're interested, I just posted a video on me time-lapsing building a sheath system, you know, right here at the bench. And if you watch that video, notice that I don't use any machines to do it. It's all by hand, right? All right, so stay tuned and we'll get right to it. We're back. Look at that. Kiva. Come here, babe. There she is. This is my girl. This is my girlfriend slash wife slash dog, all rolled up into one. You're my baby girl, isn't she? You're my baby. Uh-oh. Something's going on upstairs. Okay, so what do we got here? Okay, so in this video, I got some sheath systems. A couple of these sheath systems, actually 3 of them, are for 2 reviewers. Chris Tanner and Luke from the Outdoor Gear Review channel, right? And we got a couple others. I'll show the knives and the sheath systems and the options and whatnot, and I'll talk about them, and we'll get right to it right now. Right now, we're going to do it. Now. All right. All right, I think I already showed this one. I'm going to show it again because it hasn't left yet. I always like to get confirmation from the client before I send it to them. Because, you know, once it reaches their hands, it's done. It's a hassle to send it back if something's not right, right? So I'm waiting for Luke from the Outdoor Gear Review channel to tell me if this is okay. You know, he told me to surprise him, so I would imagine anything's going to be okay. But, you know, we got a Phoenix E05 Tactical Hawk Light Assembly. I also do Phoenix E12s. And, you know, honestly, I'll do your flashlight as well. If there's a particular flashlight that you really like and I can get it on here, I'll do it. But I have to warn you, most flashlights don't work. It's just not the way I do it. In order for me to put a flashlight on a sheath system, I have to get it on there, right, so that you can get it out of the holder easily. And that when you put it back in the holder, it stays in there through thick and thin, right? Doesn't fall out of there. You know, some guys are like, oh, just put it in there, man. It's okay if I got to do this or that. I don't think that's okay if you got to do this or that to get it out. You should be able to undo it, right? And pull it out. Bing, right? You shouldn't have to do this and do that and do this and then turn it this and turn. But sometimes, yeah, that happens. Sometimes that does happen, where you got to configure something a certain way. And I'm going to talk about that right now. That configured a certain way kind of thing in order to get it to work. This Tactical Hawk Light Assembly is configured one primary way. For you to reach down, pull the light out, and use it any way you want. If that means you got to put it back in, turn it around for another way, right? What you have to do is, if you're going to use it while it's on the sheath system, you have to, and I'll just do it from scratch right now, okay? I'll put it back on here, okay? If you're going to use it on the sheath system, right? Say you're taking it off your belt. Right now it's in dangler mode. See how the light's pointed that way? It's in dangler mode. So it's hanging on your belt like this, and you're taking the sheath and you're pointing it anywhere you need to do. All right, but the light's not on, you see? In order to turn that light on, the best way to do it is to take the light out, right? Take it out. Turn it to the setting you want it. Like I'm going to go all bright with it, right? Flip it around, you know, if you're going to use it in 45-degree cross draw mode, right? Because you can use it in cross draw mode too. Take it out, put it back in, and it's ready, okay? Now, there is a way to do it while it's on the belt, right? While it's in the holder as well. But it's primarily to be used by taking it out of the holder and turning it on, then putting it back in. But the way to do that is push it all the way forward, okay? And this frees up the bezel, okay? See the bezel? 1, 2, 3. Done. Boom. Okay? You can do that while it's on your belt. Takes a little practice, right? But it's primarily designed to be taken out, turned on, and then put back in, and then you use it however you want, okay? I'm really good at using it inside the holder. I don't have to take it off my belt. And you'll get there too. But for the time being, until you learn how to do it, it's easier just to take the whole thing out, right? Get it to the setting you want, then put it back in. And you know, the way most of them are made is you really don't have to put the shock cord retention on. It's pretty tight, but I suggest you do it anyway. All right, so now it's in dangler mode. So that's how that works, okay? It's an extremely versatile lighting system on your sheath. It's the right size, it's the right shape. The lumens are great, 85 lumens. I mean, how many lumens do you really need to pull some food out of your pack at night? Or look for a knife on the ground? How many do you really need, right? 1,000? 1,500? 500? 100? I'm telling you right now, 14 lumens will do it. 10, 7 will do it. Get what I'm saying? When it's pitch dark out there, any light is going to allow you to see. It just depends on how far you want to see, right? Sometimes I don't want to see too far at night. So, I spend a lot of time in the bush, man, and I've heard some weird, really weird stuff at night that, you know, I'm not sure I wanted to see what was out there, right? Okay, so there it is. The Phoenix E05 Tactical Hawk Light Assembly. Now, if you have a if you have a light that you want me to put on a sheath system, I'll do it. A client asked me to put an E12 on a system, right? A few weeks ago, right? The knife has to be big enough for this flashlight. This is more lumens. I don't know, 150 maybe lumens at the brightest setting, and it's got a detent button on the back, which I really like. But I haven't found a small flashlight that all you have to do is reach down, click a button, and it's on. You know, on the back. The button can't be on the side. It can't be on the cylindrical part because the holder's covering all that, right? The button has to be in the back. So this thing works great, but the knife has to be big enough. I could have put it on this one. I'm going to say a 6-inch blade is the cutoff. This is a 6 1/4 inch blade. This is our BMF. Mike Wallace and I collaborated on this design. He builds it. I put the sheath on it, and it's a great system, okay? I could have put an E12 on this, and it would have worked fine, see? Okay, 6-inch blade is about the cutoff for this guy. Anything smaller, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. But if you want me to, I'll force it on there. I'll get it on there. But you know, like if I put it on this sheath right here, it would be too wieldy for this sheath. I could do it though. I could, and I'd get it to work just fine. Okay, so there's that. So there's the system for Luke. You know, face mount, Phoenix E05 Hulk light assembly. Shock cord retention. Works great. You know what I mean? Just, we tested this system. It just works fine. You know what I mean? When I was in the Army, what I wouldn't have given to have a light on my flashlight, I could just reach down and pop out to use in any situation. I mean, it's right there. You always have your knife, so you're always going to have a light. Get what I'm saying? Now, you could say, well, I always carry a light in my pocket anyway. I'm telling you, one day, you're going to forget to put that light in your pocket. And you're going to put your knife on, right? And you're going to go for a light, and you're going to say, Christ, I'm glad I had that on my knife, because I forgot to put the one in my pocket, right? So that's how it works, all right? And these are great little lights. You know, they're waterproof. I haven't had any problem with them. I tested them, threw them in buckets of water, put them in the freezer overnight, all that kind of crap, you know, that people do with flashlights to test them. Okay, so there it is. This is the system for Luke at the Outdoor Gear Review. This is the black brick KYDEX. Black brick pattern KYDEX. I call it my spook pattern. We also do something a little unique here at Yellow Hawk. Is not only do we give you a tabby dangler or a tabby leg drop, but we can also put a tech lock on it and it stays on there. You don't have to switch anything out. You don't have to take a plate off, right? And this whole thing comes off as a plate and then put a tech lock on. You don't have to do that. It's all on there already. If you don't want the dangler on there, you want to wear it cross draw or vertical or whatever, just unscrew these. But you can also flip it back and wear it this way. And I find that when I wear it this way in cross draw, right, with the loop still on it, the loop pads it, right? I got a little bit of midsection there, right? The loop pads my flesh from getting hurt when I bend down and stuff. I mean, that's some good padding right there, right? So that's what I like about that, okay? So you don't have to take it off, but you can. There's that one. This one is for a contest winner, right? DJ Rayner. DJ Rayner won a more robust Pro from us, and then he bought a knife and sheath system as well. So this is a Puuko 140, the Verustaleka Jakarri Puuko 140. These are great knives. If you don't know about them yet, these are probably the best budget, or one of the best budget bushcrafters out there that will do everything a very expensive knife will do also, with a very comfortable ergonomic handle, right? This is the 140 with a 5.5-inch blade, okay? The other one has like a 4.5-inch blade, okay? The 110. Now I have a couple of 110s left. If you want to buy one, I'll put a sheath system on it. I don't have any of these left. The 140s, they're gone. My buddy Bob reserved the last one that I have, Bob Bieschke. So the Grizz, he wants it. So when he gives me what he owes me, he can have it. All right, so there's that. The Puuko 140, right? And then a sheath system that, you know, he picked what he wanted on the sheath system, and I built it. So I'm going to show it to you. Alright, here's the back. He did not ask for a compass. Sometimes what I'll do is, if the client doesn't ask for a Sunto compass, alright, here's the Suntos. Matter of fact, I'm going to buy some more of these puppies. They're very popular. I notice other guys are putting them on their sheath systems now too. Right? So, this is the Sunto compass. Highly accurate, highly precise. And it has a rotating bezel, so it's fully functional, right? But these compasses look pretty much the same if you do away with the coloring, right? So this is our standard compass, which is a decent compass. It's not great. It's not, well, it's fairly precise. I mean, I don't, it points north just like this one does, but no problem. It's a little slower on the get-go, but it works. You know what I mean? So this is our standard. Sometimes I'll just give them to the client, right? Because I think it deserves to be on there, right? So I gave him a standard compass, and he chose to put a ferro rod on it and a Phoenix EO5 Hawk Light assembly. I'm also going to put a, what did he say? Live Fire Sport right here. If it fits. I think it'll fit, right? I'm pretty sure it'll fit. I mean, that's quite a bit of room there, right? So there it is. This is purple carbon fiber over, let's see, what is it? Black Raptor. Black Raptor. And the Raptor is one of those KYDEXs that I can get really thick, like 095 instead of 093, right? I usually have it in thicker than 093 even, right? There it is. And I'll say this. Some guys say, hey, Doug, what about 0.125? How come you don't build sheath systems out of that? It's too thick. The 0.125 thickness, it's way too thick to build a sheath or a holster or anything out of, right? I use the 125 for my double skin dangler plates, the offset plates, if someone wants one. Now, I don't usually do the offset plates anymore because you don't need them with our systems, right? You can put a tech lock on our systems and keep it on there. You can't do that with some other systems on the market, right? So if I were to do the double skin dangler all the time, I wouldn't be able to put a tech lock here. It just doesn't work right, okay? So we don't use 0.125. It's too thick, okay? If I do a double skin dangler, then I put 125 and another 093 sandwiched together, and I mold both of them together so it's like a quarter-inch thick or some shit like that. Really thick, okay? Like bomb-proof overkill. I was in Spec Ops. I believe in overkill for gear as long as it's not too heavy, and that is one of our criteria here. We keep them lightweight too. That's a pretty thin sheath for that knife, right? I'll just show you this one real quick. This is a huge knife, right? Bark River Grizzly, huge knife, 9-inch blade or whatever. That's a pretty thin sheath, right? You don't usually see them that thin. They're usually pancakes that are another 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wider. So we try to keep them lightweight as well. Okay, next system. All right, so that's DJ Rayner, right? Got a nice thick Herman Oak belt loop on there. This is 10-ounce leather. I don't think he's going to wear through that. If you ever have any problems with your sheath systems, and it's materials and workmanship related, I'll replace it. I'll replace whatever it is that's broken on your sheath. I will replace it for free. You have my word. Okay. including if you can wear through the leather, right? Now, if you take a knife and inadvertently cut the leather, then you're going to have to pay for a new leather loop, but I'll do it for you anyway. You know what I mean? Next one, this is for David Rushing, okay? And I'm saying some people's names because I'm pretty sure they don't mind, okay? This is BMF, Wallace Edged Tools, www.wallaceedgedtools.com. This is primarily my design. Mike Wallace helped me redesign the BMF2, and this is what we came up with. Continuous belly on the blade, nice spear tip. The tip is in line with the midline of the handle for, you know, bow drill divots and stuff that you need to do precisely with the tip of your knife. It is CPM 3V, which basically I really like because you can get a thinner, sharper edge with CPM 3V, and it's still just as strong, if not stronger, than forgeable steels of the same thickness. Get what I'm saying? It's definitely as strong. It's stronger than forgeable steels of the same thickness. You know what I mean? You can't make a forgeable steel knife with an edge that thin. You just can't do it. It'll end up chipping or rolling or whatever. CPM 3V, you can do it. It's strong enough. So I like to be able to do things with knives that you can't do with other steels, and I can do it with CPM 3V. Mike Wallace can do it with CPM 3V. So every knife that he makes, all my designs, they're all CPM 3V or CPM 154. Okay, it depends on the size of the knife. There it is. Okay, pretty self-explanatory. This is a fine diamond rod sharpener. We can put other sharpeners on the sheath systems, but keep in mind, this one doesn't take up a whole lot of room, and it's an effective sharpener, right? Use this and a couple of strops in the field. Really, it's all you need. I got a couple of videos on it. Check them out. If you choose for like a DMT fold-out diamond stone, like this, okay, that's a pretty big sharpener. So it's going to take up a fair amount of room on that sheath, right? It goes into a piggyback sheath, usually on the front, right, of the sheath, but then there's no room for anything else. You get what I'm saying? So it's up to you, right, how you want to do it. I can put DMTs on there. This is my go-to for the field, a DMT diamond sharpener. That's for hand sharpening. If you're good at hand sharpening, this is what I like to use in the field, right? I generally use my fine diamond rod first. I like taking the rod to the steel, right, instead of the steel to the rod, right? So that's just my preference, okay? So there it is. Black brick pattern. Got that shore up plate. You can put a molly lock on this. Actually, two molly locks. One here and one here, right? Got to take that tech lock off, put two molly lock clips on it, or one. One's fine. It works. There it is. This is Cryptek. This is Cryptek Highlander. Cryptek Highlander in 093. Probably a little thicker. Next one. This one's for Chris Tanner. Neither one of these sheath systems that I'm going to show you right now are finished. Neither one of them are finished yet. I still want to put something else on this for Chris. I just haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. I did give him one of our Phoenix EO5 Hawk Light assemblies. And I'll show you how this works again because it's real important. You don't necessarily use it while it's on the sheath. Okay? It's designed to be taken out of the sheath. You take it out first, right? And this one's kind of tight. I like to make them fairly tight. If you got to yank on it to get it out, that's great. Because if that ever pops off, you're not going to lose your knife. Okay? I don't like to make them loose. Honestly, I think like 5 steps ahead. You know what I mean? What if that pops off? You know, I'm thinking to myself, what if that pops off of there? How's that thing going to... You make it tight. Snug. right? It's snug. It's not tight. I mean, you can get it out, right? But it's in there pretty snug, okay? So you take it out, you put it, you know, it's on your belt, right? Any setting you want, right? Then you pop it back in, all right? Just pop it back in. Then you put this puppy back on, right? And it's ready to go. That's how it's designed to be used. However, if you're good, if you practice, you can push this forward like this, okay? And you can actuate the bezel any way you want, this way, right? Once you get the setting you want, just push it back a little bit. It stays there. Boom, you're done. Okay? And you can take it out and put it in the other way for dangler mode too. So you can, there's 3 different ways. Yeah, 3 different ways you can, 3 different ways that you can use this light, right? You can use it in cross draw mode, dangler mode, baldric horizontal or baldric vertical, doesn't matter, or dangler mode or baldric vertical mode. They're both the same, okay? So there it is, right? You want to turn it off. It's pretty easy while it's on the sheath. Just push it forward again and undo the bezel, push it back, and it's good to go. You don't even have to push it back. You can leave it right there if you want. Just make sure, because this is a small holder, you got to make sure that that ring in the back, the split ring, is in the right place in order to make it as stable as it can be, okay? So as you play with it, you'll figure it out. It's a no-brainer, but you actually have to use it to know how it really works in different ways, okay? I'm real good at it because I like it. I play with mine all the time, okay? It's got a Shore Up plate with our logo on the front, okay? This is Cryptek Pontus. It's a blue, dark blue, gray pattern, okay? So he kind of wanted it to match the liners of the knife. This is a William Collins Master Woodsman. This is a cool looking knife. I've only briefly been able to work with one of these. Eventually I'll have it on the channel and I'll check it out and whatever, but there are 10 or 15 other guys that do good reviews of this, and Chris Tanner included. So this is his personal knife. Chris sent it to me for a sheath system. I'm sure it'll make its way onto a video. You'll see it. Right? There's absolutely no play with this blade. It's in there until you take it out, right? Generally, in most occasions, I don't believe that a KYDEX sheath, if it's made correctly, needs a redundant retention system, like a slide lock or whatever. But we do have our combat locks that I can put in here that you can make it tighter if you're going into some kind of, you know, extra hazardous or extra activity situation, and you just want a little more retention. You just reach down and crank that screw a little bit and it makes it tighter, right? Generally you don't need it. These are I've never lost one. I've never lost a knife out of one of our sheath systems ever, and I get into some pretty rough situations, okay? Or I have lately. Yeah, I'm 50 now, so. All right, this is the next one. This is for this is Chris Tanner's personal Jesmic. Okay, it's got the hunter orange scales, right? Let me show it to you real quick. All right. You know, Chris Tanner, he not only wants a really well-built sheath system, he wants it to look cool too. So we kind of cover all bases here. We make them look really cool and stylish, however you want them to look. And they're built bomb-proof and they work well. So it's like a total package that kind of works and works well, right? I'm really proud of what we do here. You can tell, right? Okay, so there's that retention, right? It's in there, ain't coming out unless you take it out. And it's not real difficult, right? A little bit of pressure on the thumb ramp. That's the way they're designed. KYDEX sheaths that don't have thumb ramps, I find them irritating, right? Because it's hard to get the knife out. You got to grab it and then pull it out, right? So we always put a thumb ramp on so you can pull it out. Boom. Okay? There it is. Not finished yet. It's going to be a tabby dangler. It's going to have a... I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to put on it yet. So I'm kind of going to surprise him with this one. And the Master Woodsman. Master Woodsman. Okay. The Coupe de Grace. This is a Bark River Grizzly with lava kieranite scales. That's just badass looking. See the scales? Got that lava pattern. It's called lava kieranite. It's a really hard, tough resin, plastic, basically. Okay. I'm not even going there. I was going to go, talk about knife handles being heavy and stuff. Kieranite's heavy too, just like G10 and what's the other stuff? Micarta. All right. This is heavy too. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they weigh about the same. All right. Just the kieranite, you can get these neat patterns, and it's usually a high gloss. You can get a high gloss out of it. So there it is. Bark River Grizzly. This is a pretty expensive knife. Too big for my taste, but it is a nice knife. If you're into big choppers, Pete's design is going to be iconic. I guarantee it. Every prediction I've ever made about Pete has come true. So, all right, he's going to do well because he's a hard worker. Pete's a hard worker, right? And he has a humble presence, right, on YouTube and on his videos and whatnot. So, guys like that. I know I'm not very humble. Sorry, it just goes with the territory. I actually am fairly humble, right? I'm humbled every day to just get up out of my bed and live. So, I'm just, I don't know, self-confident. Bob, the Grizz, the Bob used to tell me all the time, Doug, people continually make the mistake of thinking that self-confidence is, conceit or stuck up or whatever, right? There's a fine line between being egotistical and self-confident. I think I ride on the self-confident side more than the egotist side, but that's just me. It's just the way I see it. Other guys may think, but you got to know me first. You actually have to know me personally in order to make the distinction, right? So, Facebook, it's hard to know somebody, right? There it is. It's a beautiful knife. So, he wanted Phoenix E05 Hawk Light assembly on it, right? Good choice. This is a live fire on top of a 1/2 inch by 6 inch ferro rod holder, right? It's easy to get out. You just pull it out. Now, you can't put a big handle on your ferro rod with this sheath. But I checked with the client. He said he's just using stock ferro rods. So I would suggest leaving the ferro rod exactly the way it is, like I have this one here. Put some shock cord on it, and you're done. Okay? And then on the back, he's got an Altoids tin assembly. He can also put a tech lock on here or a molly lock right here. Okay? But he opted not to have anything, right? No tech lock, no molly lock. Herman oak, oiled and waxed leather loop. Nice and tough. Now, Zach and I both built this one together, and Zach put some tooling on there, some stampage, and our logos on there a couple of times. It's a beautiful sheath. This is Black Raptor. Black Raptor. It's primarily a baldric system. A sling will go on this. Okay, so there it is. Turned out real nice. Zach's doing a great job. He actually did most of this sheath. I did some of it, right? I kind of check it over, and I will refine things that need to be refined. That's all, right? And I did the actual loop itself. You know, I oiled it. He oiled and waxed it, but I actually cut it out and tooled it and skivved the edges and burnished them and all that stuff, right? For some reason, Zach doesn't like to work with leather. I just don't get it. I love it. So, we're getting him there, though. There's the system. Tabby dangler. You can take it off if you want. No big deal. In this case, if you want to take off the leather loop, well, in all cases, you can just take off the leather loop, or you can take the whole thing off. But if you're going to use it in baldric carry, you need the D-ring on there. So you would just take the leather loop off. Just a couple of screws. And I have to reiterate again, because I'm going to try to repeat this in every video. I'm going to try. I'll forget. But if you purchase a sheath system from Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors, you have to check the screws periodically. Okay? Especially the leather loop screws. When we oil and wax this, okay, the treatment cures, right, as it's being sent off to you. By the time it gets to you, the screws are a little loose because the leather shrinks a little bit as it cures, right? So you got to check all the screws, especially when you get it. And then periodically just make sure everything's snugged up, okay? We don't use Loctite. There's no need for it if you just check the screws once in a while. Plus, you need to be able to take things off, right? If you want to slimline this, it's already pretty slimlined the way it is. But if you really want to get it down to its bare basics, you can take everything off of it and use it as a sheath, and that's it, right? So you got to be able to do that. So a lot of versatility in these systems. We try to think of what others don't think of. So, and then we try to incorporate it somehow. I think that's it. Oh, yeah. This guy here. I got something to show you guys. Okay, so we got the Jessica X. Okay. Now, you all know I'm not a big knife guy, right? I'm not a big chopper guy. So I personally wouldn't carry something like this in the bush, but there are a lot of guys that do. This is a nice strong design, right? If they had just kept the grind on it that Chris intended to be on it, okay? This is a brand new one that a client sent me, and he said, Doug, if it comes with a hollow grind, do whatever you want with it. So I'm going to trash it, right? I'm going to beat it up, see if I can. I'm not going to beat it up. I'm going to use it hard to see if I can actually get it to chip or roll, right? And then after I'm done, I'll give you my honest opinion on whether this grind works with this knife, okay? But I already know this one is better. This traditional, it's like a saber grind, right? Saber high Scandi, I guess, with a secondary edge bevel, right? And then this one here is a hollow grind. Traditionally not as strong as this grind here, but is it okay for this knife to have it? I don't know. Chris Tanner says no. He don't want it on there. It's a weak edge, and he chipped it. But I'm gonna use it hard. I'm not gonna abuse it. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to use it hard and see if it stands up. So stay tuned for that one. But this is definitely the stronger edge, the original. Okay? Alright guys, that's it. This is Doug Wilson for Yellowhawk Customs Outdoors. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. See ya!